And welcome back, everybody. Sky Marshal, the Lion's Den, bringing you the recap of turn 11. We're heading into January 1942 next turn, but I want to show you what's happened briefly on the board. So let's dive in and go into the Mediterranean, shall we? We have currently this entire Italian fleet not there. Well, they're over here. The reason why they're over here is because the Italians have decided to move into Western Egypt, take that territory, no casualties. Amphibiously land troops into Transcaucasia, Transjordan, take that territory, no casualties. And move north and assault Nubia, take that territory, no casualties. Italians are on the move. They've taken 3 British territories and are on the process of slowly surrounding Alexandria, Cairo, and Lower Egypt. So we will see. It's kind of exciting to see the Italians now in the war, but of course the Soviets have lent-leased them many superior things like medium bomber, fighter, light cruiser to help them to eventually get to this point. So the game's afoot. We'll see what happens here, guys. We will see what happens, especially with Italian gains. The Abyssinians down here, well, I guess they're all going to be changed to the Free French. So Mehmed Dan's going to have a little bit more fun down there to see what he wants to do. The Italians did refortify Italian Somaliland with colonial troop placements and I believe a militia down there. So obviously they're going to try to hold on to what they have. Force Z, Force G, and the 1st French Fleet all fled the Mediterranean to go down here off the Horn of Africa. And this is the fleet right here to see, I'm assuming either to see or to postulate what to do about the Japanese issue right now with the Far East Command. The Japanese gains last few turns, well, are simple. Australia, Sydney, New Zealand, the South and North Islands, all of New Guinea, all of the Money Islands, at least anything that's worth anything, Singapore, Hong Kong, and even up into Burma, as long as with the Philippines, it's all under Japanese conquest. They own it. They own even Rabaul and the Solomon Islands. They have taken quite a bit of territory right now. The last remnant of the Dutch fleet, the O-21 coastal submarine, is fleeing westward into the Indian Ocean there. But right now, the Japanese do have dominance in southwestern Pacific, and we'll see what the British decide to do with these impressive battle wagons they got here. Will they head west? Will they head east? Will they go back to try to fend Egypt now that the Italians in the war? Will they possibly try to attack the Soviets now that they've taken Iran and deal with that problem? Who knows? Obviously, the Soviets have aspirations in this sector, but I don't think India nor Egypt is going to be one of those targets anytime soon. But you never know. Russians are crazy. I wonder who's playing Russia right now. Interesting. Anyways, up here, Japan. Well, Japan has a bit of issue right now. 2 American fleet submarines, the Scorpion and the Gato, have come in and, didn't do anything. They let their junior cousins, S-49 and S-27, the coastal submarines, cause a bit of naval damage. 5 million tons of Japanese vital shipping to the home islands was sunk under that command. However, the Japanese were able to sink the HMS Odin, which was the coastal submarine here in the Yellow Sea finally, after it has caused many a grief for the Japanese Empire. Japanese coastal ship placements, well, they do have a sizable force here, down here in Java. But if you go further north, they have quite a sizable Kido-Butai. The 31st and 8th is pretty much the bulk of their carrier task force, as well as some of their surface vessels. But a large part of their fleet has fled back to Palau to help, obviously, possibly defend the home islands. And that's, of course, their main battleships, the Kaga, huge submarine force, and a few more surface vessels. The Americans, however, forgot that, the battleships that left Pearl didn't have enough fuel, so they fled back to Pearl Harbor here and link up with the USS Yorktown and her surface fleet. And these battleships right here are all just waiting now in port in Pearl Harbor. Hopefully, well, we'll see, for a main assault. The Americans have fortified the Hawaiian Islands again, bringing more planes and whatnot over. And of course, they brought their strategic bomber now into Midway. They're starting to build an airfield and still got a fort placement right there, but obviously they haven't done much with it. And they have quite a sizable marine and infantry contingent, along with a smaller artillery, 2 artillery divisions. The USS McDonough is out front, protecting Midway from any screening forces that might come in and harass the Midway. And the USS Hammerhead is the newest fleet submarine, the Gato class, coming to join the Japanese. The US Navy did build a 4th one, and that's the USS Bonefish, which in honor of ham bone, which if anybody Wikipedia's that, they'll probably understand. And the USS Flint, the 2nd Atlanta-class light cruiser, has been commissioned and is in sea trials off of San Francisco. So yeah, all in all, that's actually kind of fun to see. See the Americans are slowly pushing into the Pacific, but right now it's a giant stalemate. The KMT and the CCP, once again, are also having a giant stalemate. The Japanese have shown no interest in invading mainland China, and perhaps will not for the rest of the game, but we'll see. Obviously, they need their victory points just like anybody else. So, over here in Western Africa, the Germans are slowly pushing the French out of North Africa, and I'm sure it won't be long before we see the Deutsche Afrika Korps coming down to help out their Italian brethren in Egypt. This is where the game gets exciting. Side note here, I just recently commissioned the Hellenic Navy, the Kalikis. She's a cruiser in this version, but she was actually a coastal defense ship for the Hellenic Navy. But I just figured it gives us a little bit more pizzazz and some history to it. Iraq did fall to the Soviets. The Soviets pushed westward and took Iraq, North and South Iraq. And now currently they are in the Soviet sphere of influence, as well as all of Iran. And Turkey now is highly alarmed with the advances coming to their border, especially with a very large Air Force contingent, Marines, mountain infantry, all lining up on the border over there in eastern Anatolia. Over here in Spain, we did see, just off the coast of Spain, the Admiral Darlan brought the Marseille Le Fantastique to sink the Spanish heavy cruiser, the Canaris, and a few transports, and it was a decisive battle, so the French do have that feather in their cap. But aside from that, that's really only the major naval action in the Mediterranean, besides the Italians ganging up on small torpedo boat destroyer. But further north here, the coastal subs, Hambone, I don't know if you meant to move them or not this turn, but they are off the coast of Portugal. The Americans haven't done a lot in the eastern seaboard here. They did, however, lay 3 new Baltimore-class heavy cruisers, the Pittsburgh, the Helena, and the Columbus, as well as they moved up the USS Hornet and Kentucky to stage 2. The Soviets did lay down the Sovietsky Soyuz this turn, the pride of their Pacific or their Baltic fleet, and they've also laid down a carrier, which may be completed next turn. We'll see. The Americans did move up here, off the coast of Scotland here, to join their British counterparts with a sizable navy, and we do not know what they are doing from the Soviet aspect, but the Soviets are concerned. London is very vulnerable, but I can only suspect that's a trap, either for the Germans or for the Soviets. But the Soviets got enough on their hands to deal with their new built empire from sea to sea to sea to shining sea. The first empire to link all 4 oceans, the Indian, the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic Oceans. So Comrade Stalin is very happy with that so far. And currently right now, yes, we did consolidate Norway. That's under our command right now. And the Soviets are slowly, very slowly building up their forces, as you can see right here. Not a whole lot going on until perhaps a new invasion like the invasion of Turkey or something like that. But aside from that, guys, that pretty much brings a brief summary of what's been going on here with this game. And hopefully you've been enjoying this, and we're going to continue on and have a bit more fun next game and next round and see what happens. But stay in tune, guys, and we'll give you updates as they come about. This is Sky Marshall in the Lions Den signing out. See you guys soon in turn 12. Check out Silk and his channel for the German turn coming up for 12.1. Stay classy.